That didn't work. There we go. All right, so today's video is on point slope form, and it's the only video for today, so that's a win. So this is the second form that we're going to graph, and it's a point slope form. And we don't need to change the form. We're going to learn to graph it in the form that it's given to us. So last time we graphed from slope-intercept form, and now we're going to graph from point slope form. So M is still going to represent the slope, and x1, y1 is going to represent a point. But notice it says minus x1 and minus y1, but the point is x1, y1. So when we read the point, it's going to be the opposite of what's added or subtracted to the x and y. So on number 1, the slope is, the slope is the number that is in front of the x, which in this case is 2/3. Okay, that's pretty straightforward, but the point is the opposite of what's with the x and the y, so it's going to be -4, +3. Now, last time when we graphed, we had to start with the y-intercept, and you don't have to start with the y-intercept. You just graph with whatever point you know. So we'll start with the point -4, 3, which would be right here, and then we'll use our slope, still rise over run, to go up 2 and right 3, or down 2 and left 3, and then that will allow us to graph our line. But when we graph these lines, we have to start with some kind of point. So before it was this y-intercept, now it's just some point on the graph. Okay, so number 2, our point. Our point is the opposite of what's with the x and the y. So that is going to be 5, -1. The slope is the number in front of the parentheses, which is 2. So we're going to start with the one point that we know, 5, -1. And then again, if our slope is in a fraction, we'll think of it as a fraction. And we'll do rise over run to be able to graph it. Okay, number 3. The slope's easy, 3/4. The point, you're like, well, I know it's got to be +5, but if we look, there is nothing added or subtracted to that y, so this point is just going to be 5, 0. And 5, 0 is on the x-axis, and then we'll use our slope, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That didn't really fit, but that's okay. We can go the opposite way down to the left. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm on the struggle bus. Without my glasses, but we got it. Okay. There is the line. All right, let's try this again on number 4. On number 4, my point, again, is the opposite of what's with the x and the y. So I'm going to have +2 and -3. My slope is -1/3. Notice that at no point I'm rewriting this equation. I'm just graphing it straight with the information that I have. So my point is 2, -3. And then I'm going to use my slope. And when it's negative, remember, we're going to go down and to the right, or the opposite would be up and to the left. And then if we take a look at this, that graph would be going down from left to right. So that's a good thing. Okay, number 5, our point is going to be -4 with the x and +4 with the y. And our slope is -3. So when it's not a fraction, remember, we think it over 1. So we're going to go down and to the right, or up and to the left. And there's our graph. Okay, number 6. We know it's in point slope form, just like number 3 was, or all of these are, because they have parentheses. But this is kind of an oddball one like number 3. So the slope is easy. We know -2/5. But the x is kind of the opposite of what we had in number 3. There's nothing or added or subtracted to this x, so it's not 1, because if it was 1, there'd be a 1 there. Okay? And then it's the opposite of what's added or subtracted to the y, so this is going to be -5. Okay? So we're still getting the point the exact same way every time we see parentheses. So our point is 0, -5. So we're going to start here and go down 2 and right 5, or up 2 and left 5. And then we can connect our dots. Okay, a little bit more practice with them. On this one, our slope is -1/2. The point is the opposite, so 6, 3. So we'll go to 6, 3 and make a point. And we go down and to the right, or the opposite would be down and to the left. And being able to graph points in both directions allows us to accurately pick points on our graph. Okay, number 8, our slope is 4. To graph it, we'll think of it as 4/1. Our x-intercept, our point is -1, -5, because it's the opposite of what's with the x and the y. So -1, -5 is here. And then our slope, we're going to go up 4 and right 1. And if we went down 4 and left 1, that would not fit. And we can look here, it's a positive slope. It's going up from left to right. Okay. Number 9, even though it looks weird, it's got parentheses, so it's in point slope form. So the slope is -3/5. The point is the opposite of what's with the x, which is -4, and the opposite of what's added or subtracted to the y, which is 0. So -4, 0 is here, and then we'll go down 3 and right 5, and up 3 and left 5 would not fit on our graph. Okay, number 10. The point's not that bad. The point is going to be 5, 3, but the slope, remember the slope is always the number in front of the x, or in front of the parentheses, and it's the number multiplied in front of the parentheses, and that would be 1. When it's added or subtracted invisible, it's 0. When it's multiplied and invisible, it's 1. So my point is 5, 3, and 1 is really the same as 1/1. So I go up and to the right, or down and to the left, and there's our graph. Number 11, lots of weird things going on. It's parentheses, so it has to be in point slope form. So the point is the opposite of what's added to the x, -7, the opposite of what's added or subtracted to the y, which is nothing, and then the slope is the number multiplied in front of the parentheses, which in this case is an invisible -1. So we'll start at -7, 0, and then we can go down and to the right, because that's the only direction that fits. Okay, these last ones are just a reminder of what we did last time, because they technically can be in any form and you can answer the questions no matter what form I give you. So remember, y = 7 is all the points where y = 7. So it's not a single point, it's all the points where y = 7. So it could be 0, 7, 3, 7, -2, 7. So it's all of these points right, whoa, all of these points right here. Okay, and when we have a horizontal line, our slope is 0. And now we need to pick a point. Well, you can pick any point you want as long as y is 0. Okay, y = -8 is not going to fit on our graph, so we'll do -4. So it's all the points where y is -4. So we have 0, -4, 3, -4, -4, -4. It's all of these points. And when we have a horizontal line, the slope is 0, and we can pick any point we want as long as y is -4. So about 3, -4. Okay, now we have vertical ones, but this time x is 3. So we need all the points where x is 3. So 3, 0, 3, 4, 3, -2. It's not just a single point, it's a whole line of points. And we have a vertical line, it's undefined. And now we need to pick a point on the graph, and we're going to pick any point where x is 3. So how about 3, -2? Okay, -8 still doesn't fit. Should have updated this. Let's make this -5 this time. Okay, so all the points for x is -5. -5, 0, -5, 2, -5, -2. All these on the vertical line. And when it's vertical line, the slope is undefined, and our point can be any point where x is -5. Boom, we're done. Okay, your job now is to complete the homework. And then when you finish the homework, you need to turn in both the notes and the homework. And then I will be back with you next week.